Okay, so like this is part two of the Mark of the Beast. Is the RFID microchip. So we're gonna jump back into Second Ezra chapter 14, verse 16. It says, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall happen." So like then it says, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." So it's going to get worse. Okay, verse 17. "For look, how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." Okay, so the infrastructure of the society is what it's talking about. Okay, precept Isaiah 14 and 9. It says, "Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, and it stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations." Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, "Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?" Verse 11. "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, okay, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." Okay. Back in verse 10, it's talking about when it said, "Art thou also become weak as thee? Art thou become like unto us?" Okay. It's talking about how at one time the so-called white man fancied himself more powerful than the rest of the nations. Okay, but now he's being brought down to their level. Case in point, the Chinese and the Japanese used to look up to the so-called white man, want to dress like them, but not so much anymore. Okay, you had the U.S. these devils dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, and that proved that they're the devils, and the Japanese and Chinese are starting to realize that, and that because of them bombs that they dropped, they realized that the so-called white man is the devil now. Okay, and so they'll never forget Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They got monuments over there. Okay, so it's deep in their minds. They hate the so-called white man, and that's just using them as an example. Okay, going back into Isaiah 14 and verse 11, it says, "Thy pomp which is brought low." Thy pomp is brought low. The pomp is talking about, going back to Caesar Borgia, the Borgia family, when they came into power, that was the beginning of their pomp. Remember in the 1300s? Okay, now when it says back in verse 10, Isaiah 14 and 10, "The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." Okay, that's talking about corrosion. Okay, Elder Apostle Tahar mentioned about the infrastructure. Okay, for America. Okay, for example, the last grade that they received was a D minus for this infrastructure. Okay, you got bridges as we speak ready to just collapse and fall apart. Okay, so there's an old saying, as the infrastructure goes, so does the nation, or so does the country. Okay. Now, let me see. So, okay, so going back to Isaiah 14, verse 11, it says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave." So all all of these things led to thy pomp being brought down, like in the 50s. Okay, when the highways were being built in America. Anyone would tell you that America's best years were the 40s and the 50s. Okay, now after the 50s, the late 50s going into the 60s, when Vietnam came in, that's when America started cycling down the drain. Okay, if you ever watched the shows like Father Knows Best or Leave It to Beaver, you could see the pomp uh, And those more moral based television shows, more family structure shows, like as it says in Daniel 7:20, it says, whose look was as more stout than his fellows, which stout means to speak proudly. And, like those family based shows, you don't see that anymore. Now you see The Simpsons, Married with Children, the degenerate shows, okay? Degenerate means having lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered normal and desirable. Okay, showing evidence of a decline. Okay, so these TV shows are showing decline of the family. Okay, they're bringing in homosexuality, which in the 60s, um, you had the homosexual movement called free love. Okay, but this is part of the prophecy where it says the pump will be brought down. Okay, it's talking about the so-called white man's pump, his pride. Okay, okay, going back to verse 11, it says, and the noise of thy vials. Okay, vials is talking about music. Okay, now it says the worm is spread under thee, again meaning corrosion, how the society has been corroded from inside out. Okay, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Okay, verse 12, Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Okay, again, so-called white man. Really, it's talking about the elites, the Illuminati, your secret societies. How are you falling from heaven, meaning rulership from heaven? It says, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Okay, going back to the book. Okay, it says, the beast is returned, is the return and revival and restoration of the Roman Empire. Okay, recognized today as the EU. Okay, and also NATO, pursuant to Revelations 17:12. Okay, so we learn that the collapse of the European Union is imminent, and we're witnessing it. Okay, in the prevalent ongoing European sovereign debt crisis. Okay, we're witnessing all this during the debt crisis. Okay, nations such as Greece, Ireland, Portugal, Spain, and Italy, okay, are struggling economically. Okay, in the U.S., the birthplace of the RFID chip, politicians and lawmakers have included and integrated RFID technology into legislation being approved by the FDA. Okay, not only the FDA, but legal immigration, social security, and military, law enforcement. Okay, there are articles on how they're putting the chip in the body, in the body replacement parts. Okay, like if you need a fake arm. Okay, and for organ donors, you know, and they show you that in the movie Repo Man with Forrest Whitaker. It shows you how they put tracking devices in the chips, okay, in them body parts, okay. The global plan of the international bankers is to merge and establish all people of the world under one world government, wherein the worldwide government will regulate and monitor the population via the RFID chip. Okay, the chip will be proposed, offered, and presented as the alternative currency solution, okay, to the current dollar in the EU. Okay, basically, that makes the so-called white man God. Okay, and that's what he wants to be. As it says in Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, it says, "Who opposeth himself and exalteth himself against against Salakia, above all that is called God or that is worshipped." Okay, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Okay, that's why he had that He-Man, Master of the Universe show. Okay, with blonde back in the day, with blonde the He-Man had blonde hair, blue eyes, because that's what they want to be. They want to be God. That's what he was saying in Isaiah 14, that I will ascend in heaven above the throne of God. That's Esau, because they really want to be the Most High. And the character Adam in He-Man, the fact that he turns into a so-called black man when he gets the power, he says, I have the power. That proves that they know Jake is the real God, man. It says, as back in the book, it says, as the NWO encompasses the theory of a global one world economy, one factor and component the elites will use to influence and persuade the masses to take the chip is religion, okay, namely through the Vatican, okay. The Roman Catholic Church and the Pope present the false prophet, okay, as it says in Revelation 16:3, okay, Revelations 19:20, and Revelations 20:10, okay. Other powerful, influential, and prominent figures will also be deceptively exploiting and deceptively exploited and used to deceive the masses. Talking about like entertainers, sports players. Realization and awareness that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast is important and imperative. Okay, the Pope endorses the microchip, and all the people in the Vatican, they have to be chipped. Okay, in the Vatican. Okay, and the Pope has denied the RFID chip being the mark of the beast. Okay, but we see through all that. Okay, even if he denies it, he's gonna have to get it too. He's gonna have to take it. Okay, so the point is, you got information, and then you got smack dab in the middle of the information, you got disinformation. Okay, which creates perplexity again, where people are in confusion and people don't know what to believe. It's control opposition. Okay, that's what it is, and that's what the elites are banking on. Okay, but if you're confused, you don't know what to believe. You can't say no. You can't say nobody told you, because we're telling you right now. Okay, GMS told you. Okay, 2 Corinthians 4:2 precept says, but if our gospel be hid to them, it says, but if our gospel be hid, it be hid to them that are lost. Verse 3, 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 4. It says, in whom the power of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who the word ignorantly calls Christ, who is the image of the Most High, shine unto them. Okay, so he blinded the minds of them which believe not. Okay, so the ones that's gonna get it are gonna get it, and the ones that are not gonna get it, they're not gonna get it. Okay, and in Isaiah he said he will make them of quick understanding in fear of the Lord. He will make them of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. So the ones that can get it, that means the ones that can't get it, that means they're not part of the elect. Okay, because the elect will be of quick understanding. Okay, they get it just like that. Okay, back in the book it says, equally meaningful is being cognizant of the Most High's stance concerning the chip. Okay, grasping and comprehending why the Most High explicitly forbids it. Okay, and understand the consequences first and foremost. So and understand the consequences and repercussions of the chip. Okay, first and foremost, inserting the chip is a sin. Okay, again, transgressing the Levitical law. Furthermore, in doing so, the individual has chosen to serve Babylon the Great. Okay, asserting Edom, the devil, as the master that they love by taking that chip. Okay, rather than the creator and the power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the creator of the universe. Okay, so this is a prophecy in Isaiah 11, verse 2 and through 3, talking about Yahushua. But those that follow Yahushua will be in the same spirit that he's in. Okay, those that are his, that follow him. Okay, now Isaiah 11:2. Um, this is what it reads. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon them, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. Okay, verse 3, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, nor reprove after the hearing of his ears. Okay, so it says, and shall make him of quick understanding. It says, so it won't take a guy long to get it. If he's of that sincere ilk, he's gonna get it. Just like when you put your seatbelt on, it don't take long to just click that mug in. Okay, so it says, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes. So you won't look at the other camps and say, I like them because they dress better, or they are a match, or they may appear to be more orderly because they got the same thing. No, okay, because Matthew 24:24, it says, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Okay, now going back to the book, the outcome and result, should one make this decision of getting the chip, is death and destruction. That's the result. Okay, Revelations 14:9-11. Okay, relinquishing all hope of deliverance from America's demise and ruin. So you're not going to be delivered from America's demise and ruin if you take this chip. Okay, seeing that the mystery of the mark of the beast has been revealed through the Lord's prophets, several telltale signs are revealing that this prophecy is soon approaching. In the midst of the world's major economies deteriorating and in decline, with the people losing confidence and trust in the dollar and in the euro, the opportunity to push the chip certainly seems ideal. Okay, parameters and framework have been set in place. Okay, the passing of the National Defense Authorization Act has legalized martial law. Okay, one tool to be used to enforce the chip. Okay, the mark of the beast is right around the corner. Okay, may this information aid the reader and guide the elect in truth and reason, that he might prepare himself, making the just decision during the hour of temptation. Okay, when one's faith is tested. Okay, First Peter's 1 verse 5. Okay, and verse 9. Okay, who are kept through the power of the Most High through faith and salvation unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. Okay, the end of our faith is the salvation of our souls. Okay, First Peter 1:9, it says, receiving the end of your faith, even as it says, even the salvation of your souls. The end of our faith is the salvation of our souls. Okay, Revelations 14:12, it says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. Okay, now let's go to Revelations 3:9. It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are the Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Okay, verse 10, Revelations 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, now Lord willing, this was edifying. Again, I say shalom till the next time.